Hey everyone, welcome to Open House. I'm Mr. PK. Welcome to science class. So my name is Mr. Pogemiller-Kermani, and I like to go by Mr. PK for short. This is my contact information. You can call me or text me at that number. You can email me at that address. That is how to sign up for my Remind. I haven't really set much out this school year, but I plan to use this school year. These documents right here are hyperlinks to the syllabus, to my school website on the wapingerschools.org site, and documents in Spanish. Some things about me. This is my 5th year teaching 8th grade at Wappingers Junior High, and I love it. I love middle schoolers. I love how excitable they are, their spirit, and I just have a lot of fun with this age. I went through Wappinger School District myself, and I was really proud of going through the district and all the opportunities it has afforded me. So I'm proud to be on the other side teaching and giving back to the school district that helped me be successful. I got my bachelor's in neuroscience, my master's in teaching, and I love spending time with my family and with my dogs. And I'm really nerdy about all things science. Sorry for messing with all this. As far as navigating Google Classroom goes, this hyperlink brings you to a video playlist, and these 5 videos go over all the problems that a student might encounter from their side of Google Classroom. So if your child's having any difficulty with the interface of Google Classroom, this is a really good resource. But of course, I would be happy to answer any questions you or your child may have. As far as my Google Classroom is concerned, it is all under the classwork tab, is everything relevant to the class. And I organize things by the date, by each week. And then you can toggle on the left side, toggle between the different weeks, and then whatever else I may make a topic. So some of you might not have access to your child's Google Classroom all the time. And if that's the case, my Wapner Schools website still is up and running to keep you informed and make transparent what all we're doing in class. So the home screen has my schedule and syllabus. The first tab has everything we've done in class every single day. So during the synchronous and asynchronous parts, as well as any relevant materials as links. The assignments tab has just the assignments that have been given. The notes has just the notes that have been given. And then the documents in Spanish are documents in Spanish for our Spanish speakers. So as far as taking attendance, so I don't just do roll call. I have a software application that runs in the background during our Google Meets that takes attendance for me. So the one I use is hyperlinked here in case you wanted more information about it. But basically, this software application lets me know when students have arrived, for how long they've been at the meeting, if they've gone and come out, things like that. So I'm able to see all the information about a student's attendance throughout the class period. And then I can export it as a spreadsheet or an HTML document to see. So attendance is taken for me, but I still have students fill out an attendance Google form. And so one of the things on the form is this picture with all these different emotions. And I have kids tick off which emotions they feel. Because, in person, I'd be able to pick up on how a student's feeling or ask them. And this is my way of trying to be responsive to how a student might be feeling. All right, so what about the course content this school year? Last year was all about life science, all about the non-living stuff. So what the heck is physical science? Well, physical science is everything else. So whereas life science is anything living, the physical science encompasses a range of disciplines. So the ones we'll be covering are earth science, chemistry, and physics. So within earth science, we'll be talking about rocks and minerals. We'll be talking about the structure of the earth inside out, as well as how the surface of the earth changes over time through continental drift, about the plate tectonics, about earthquakes. We'll also be talking about not just our earth, but the earth, moon, sun system. So how we have seasons, how we rotate and revolve around the sun, how we have tides and see different moon phases, and of course weather and weather events and the layers of the atmosphere. For chemistry, we'll be focusing on big and small. So we'll be talking about solids, liquids, gases, and plasma, the four phases of matter. We'll be talking about how you classify matter. So whether something is a pure substance, a mixture, heterogeneous mixture, homogeneous mixture, an element, compound, molecule. So how to classify matter. We'll also talk about atoms, the smallest things that make up everything. We'll talk about the different types of atoms, which are called elements, and how these elements have different properties from each other. We'll talk about how these elements come together to make molecules and compounds through chemical bonds. And we'll talk about acids and bases and the pH scale. And then lastly, we'll talk about physics. So within physics, we'll talk about the electromagnetic spectrum, so all the light waves coming from the stars. We'll talk about other types of waves as well, like transverse and longitudinal waves. And we'll talk about Newtonian physics, speed, velocity, acceleration, momentum, everything that has to do with motion. And we'll also talk about simple machines, the 6 different types of simple machines that make up all other types of machines. So how do I like to teach science? So I feel that a good science education involves the teacher talking as little as possible and the students doing science. So them doing labs or simulations. And I'm really excited, even though we're virtual this year, that students will be able to do online simulations through some cool websites that our district has been able to secure for the science teachers. So I'm looking forward to a lot of fun hands-on science, even if we are virtual this school year or for however long. Also, I'm a proponent of inquiry-based science education. So that's where students are inquiring about concepts before a teacher goes and ruins the magic. So instead of me saying density is the amount of mass in a given space, I'll have a student make a heatless lava lamp and see how layers of different liquids sink or float and kind of inquire about it and think about it themselves before I spoil the magic. As far as my teaching practices are concerned, I love everyone that I work with in the science department, special ed department, and other departments as well. We're always texting and emailing and trying to make really good lessons for kids. And so there's a really wonderful synergy. So while I'm making new things this school year, so are a bunch of other science teachers, and we're really trying to give kids the best science education they can. Also, I am all about equality and equity in the classroom. So I don't want kids to feel like some others are the favorites and that there's bad kids in the class. There's no reason for me to treat kids like that. And plus, if a kid thinks I don't like them, then they might not want to try in this class. And all I want students to do is be able to develop scientific skills, critical thinking, and learn science and maybe enjoy science along the way. So I'm all about giving kids the equal treatment, equitable treatment, and that means also, reading over students' IEPs, listening to your concerns about your children, or reading your emails, and taking into account your thoughts and your children's needs. So I'm all about trying to respond to my students. As far as my grading policy is concerned, I use a total point system. So I add up all the points that you received over a quarter, divide by all the points you could have received, and times it by 100. And that's the grade for the quarter. So I do, of course, take late work. I am very flexible. I always take late work without penalty. But of course, I want students to turn things in by the assignment due dates because one, of course, I don't want to be struggling at the end of the quarter trying to grade a bunch of stuff. But two, because I want your students to not be overwhelmed themselves at the end of the quarter and just hand in a bunch of stuff at once. So it makes sense to do work when it's assigned, hand it in, because then also they're ready for the test and quizzes along the way. So that is my presentation for a parents' night. Thank you for visiting. If you have any questions at all, please see the contact information slide and feel free to reach out to me by whatever medium works for you. And know that I'm looking forward to a really good year filled of science with your students. Thank you for visiting.